John Healey, a year ago, your leader promised to smash the gangs that were shipping illegal immigrants across the Channel. It's reported that hundreds of people crossed yesterday, more than in recent times. What went wrong?
Pretty shocking, those scenes yesterday. Truth is, Britain's lost control of its borders over the last 5 years. So my message to Russia and to Putin is this. We see you. We know what you're doing. And if the Yantar travels south this week, we are ready.
Is Britain ready for war with Russia? TalkTV's Kevin O'Sullivan and Philip Kisley from the New Culture Forum sat down and asked the question everyone is thinking. A Russian spy ship sailed near British waters, shining lasers at our pilots. At the same time, hundreds of illegal migrants continue to cross the channel in rubber boats every single week. Yet the government still says we are ready. Are we? Let's head straight into their conversation, and then we're going to look at two simple principles that never change: responsibility and trust. These are two tests we can use to evaluate our leaders, because if they fail those two tests, all their tough talk means nothing. Before we get into the details, if you love diving into political issues and enjoy hearing a principled take on them, then hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to join the conversation. It will help our channel reach a wider audience.
I speak a Russian spy ship, the Yantar, is on the edge of UK waters north of Scotland, having entered the UK's wider waters over the last few weeks. This is a vessel designed for gathering intelligence and mapping our undersea cables. We deployed a Royal Navy frigate and RAF P-8 planes to monitor and track this vessel's every move, during which the Yantar directed lasers at our pilots. That Russian action is deeply dangerous. And this is the second time this year that this ship, the Yantar, has deployed to UK waters. So my message to Russia and to Putin is this. We see you. We know what you're doing. And if the Yantar travels south this week, we are ready.
Well, Philip, the question is, there's a tough words from John Healey there, and we've got a serious threat going on. It's quite clear, at the very least, Putin is deliberately goading us. He's trolling us. He's testing the waters, almost literally, with this spy ship. But when Defence Secretary John Healey says, we know what you're doing and we are ready, are we ready, do you think? I'm not sure we are. That's the problem, isn't it?
It is the problem, and of course we're not ready. We're nowhere near ready. The first duty of any government is to defend its citizens, and this government has been so negligent, it's terrifying. This has been described by the Commons Defence Committee as a wake-up call and last chance saloon. So that's how bad we are. But I don't think it's just that, Kev. I think it's more than an external existential threat, because if something happens, we've got so many fifth columnists, Palestine Action, etc., people marching every week who hate Britain, hate the West, hate Jews, hate everybody within this country. If there was an external threat did happen, if someone did invade, then we'd have the extra problem of fifth columnists inside helping them. And now that's new, Kev. We've never had that in the history of this country before, because up until the end of the 20th century, we'd never had mass immigration before. So something is happening, and we really don't know, the people of this country really don't know how vulnerable they are. Now, that might sound extremely dramatic, and it is dramatic, but it's actually the truth.
And I think we've got something like 70,000 troops available, which wouldn't even fill Wembley Stadium.
I'm thinking about Angela Rayner, who's gone, but who'll probably come back. What were they calling? They were alienating the US. They were alienating particularly President Trump by calling him names. He's literally Hitler and all of that kind of stuff. At the same time, they refused to spend, the bare minimum to protect us. This is how negligent these people are. And so you've got that direct impact of literally just not meeting the quota and not spending what they should be doing. But we've also got the indirect impact, which is more cultural, isn't it? And I was thinking, as I was reading this story, I was thinking about the story from 2023 about the RAF and the diversity quotas saying, well, the RAF is too white and too male. We need to get rid of those people.
Come on.
Diversity. Now, that is really important, isn't it? Because if you're going to have an operation on your brain surgery, you don't want a diversity quota brain surgeon, and this is exactly the same. This is just as important. So for these people, the loony left, the Labour Party, all the other Green Party and all of that, the armed forces represent poisonous masculinity. They represent patriotism. They represent nationalism, all the things that they hate. So of course they won't spend money on it, right? Yeah. Of course they won't. And that, again, it's not just the fact that they won't do that. It's everything. It's the philosophy behind it. It's how they think, and it's how they view the armed forces. They view the armed forces with contempt. And for me, that's the most worrying thing.
Perhaps, just as a thought, if they stop spending quite so much on public sector pay rises, if they stop spending quite so much on the increasingly unjustifiable foreign aid budget that they love so much, then they could put some of the billions that they will save on all that nonsense into defence, protecting the people of this country, which, as you quite rightly said at the beginning of our conversation, Philip, is the first sacred duty of a government. They are not fulfilling that duty. It is quite palpably clear.
Yeah, and let's just put it in context, okay? This is how ridiculous it is. You said before that we've got an army of 70,000 people, which wouldn't even fill Wembley Stadium, okay? That is the smallest army this country has ever had since the Napoleonic Wars, okay? So, again, it's this idea of putting people in danger. It's not caring. It's not even meeting that first duty. So this government, my God, it needs to go. And again, as I said before, people don't realise, and it's understandable that they don't, because people are going about their everyday lives, they're trying to earn a living, they're looking after children, they're paying mortgages and stuff like that. They don't necessarily think about national defence. But we are in terrible trouble here, so much so that the Russians think they can just go and play with us on the waters outside of Scotland.
Yeah, and, this is clearly Putin playing around, taunting us, goading us. But in these circumstances, things can go wrong. A slight kind of mishap, and God knows what could happen. So, I mean, I'm not wishing this to happen, but horror of horrors. Suppose something did happen with this ongoing incident up in Scotland. A missile was accidentally fired or something, and suddenly we're at war with Russia. John Healey, we know what you're doing. We are ready. We are not ready. We are not in any way ready for war. And you know what they say? These Labour people, they love peace. You know what they always say? To maintain peace, you must be ready for war.
Defence Secretary John Healey admitted we have lost control of Britain's borders. Rubber dinghies full of illegal migrants sail across from France to the UK every week. If our leaders say the quiet part out loud, that we have lost control of our borders, don't they know our enemies are listening? If so, what do they expect our enemies to think? A Russian spy ship sailed near British waters, shining lasers at our pilots. Defence Secretary John Healey comes out and says, "We see you and we are ready." Ready for what exactly? This feels just like the beginning of the Ukraine war, where Western leaders had no courage to sit down with Putin and have a diplomatic conversation before the war began. And they still have no courage to negotiate for an end to that war. If it wasn't for President Trump winning the US election, we will never know how much further this war could have escalated. Are we really ready for war with Russia? Do we want to be ready for a war that could very likely go nuclear and wipe England off the map? The British people do not want a war with Russia or anyone else. If our leaders are unable to protect us from rubber dinghies carrying illegal migrants, how can they protect us from ironclad Russian warships and nuclear submarines? The first responsibility of any government is to protect and defend its citizens from enemies, foreign and domestic. I believe our leaders are playing with fire. If our leaders have lost control of British borders to rubber boats and illegal migrants, what does that signal to Moscow? Enemies smell weakness. Putin smelled it before the Ukraine war. Responsibility means taking control of the border by using anything necessary, including the military and the navy, to protect the homeland. Trust is the glue of leadership. Stephen Covey said it is the one thing that changes everything. Years ago, I heard someone say, trust is to a relationship what oxygen is to life. That applies to personal relationship, but it also applies to the relationship between the British government and the people in this great nation. Right now, that oxygen is running out fast because people watch dinghies land every week on British shores, and at the same time, we hear we are ready for Russia. Trust is only earned when you say what you mean and then do exactly what you said. When you say we are ready, after failing to stop the boats, nobody believes you. Trust demands transparency. Until our leaders show real responsibility and earn back trust by fixing what is right in front of them, all the tough talk is just noise that makes things worse. If you can't stop a rubber boat today, nobody will trust you to stop a nuclear submarine tomorrow. Evaluate every leader with these two profound principles. Are they taking full responsibility? And have they earned your trust? Responsibility and trust will beat mere tough talk, but no action every single day. Put your view in the comments. If you have benefited in any way from this video, please subscribe, like, share, and be sure to leave us a comment.